I survived the hurricane.
Yeah, how you doing down there?
I survived the hurricane.
Lordy, lordy.
Oh my God. It was worse than Ian. Worse than Matthew. You know.
I spoke to a couple people down there, just checking in on them, and flooding, lots and lots and lots of water. So I
You
mean,
never you never called me.
yeah, I did.
No, you texted me. You didn't call me.
Oh God! So I didn't
Good
want
evening,
to
everybody.
waste your phone. That's like no good deed goes unpunished.
Welcome, paranormal peeps, back to our show. You're watching Dead or Alive on the Dead or Full Spectrum channel. We are simulcast with KGRADB.com, KGRADB.com, and also KGRA on Facebook and on YouTube. George Lopez here, Ken DeCosta in Rhode Island, and we are here for our Sunday night show. For those of you who missed the pre recorded interview last week with Dr. Jason Bray, you should have been there. He turned into a werewolf. It was a fantastic show, but seemed like you guys only like to be here while we're here live, also,
Yeah.
which is perfectly okay. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, a reminder bell. Definitely punch that and the thumbs up. Very important. So we are glad to be back. We're live this week, and yes, we are talking about post-apocalyptic scenario with regards to these storms that we had. I mean, that's A1A, Beach Beachfront Avenue. That's half of A1A is gone completely. And you know what, Ken?
What's
They
that?
just finished maybe about oh god a year ago, finished doing the repairs on A1A from the damage from Hurricane Matthew.
My goodness.
And this is even a longer stretch, is what they're saying, of A1A that you can't drive. And all the hotels and the restaurants and the coffee bar, they're going to deal with this again for another. It took them 3 years to redo A1A.
No
So three
coffee?
3 years without any kind of coffee. It's going to be a nightmare for the
Oh
longest time.
God.
So,
No coffee. I know a guy.
yep.
Let me look you
But
up.
but getting a new roof, which is important because I lost I think 20 shingles, and this was a Category 1 out of band hurricane that did this kind of damage, and yet Ian didn't do anything like this, and it was all in the way that the direction of the wind made
Sure.
a difference on it. Absolutely crazy. But I'm here, and that's the important part.
That is the important part.
You know, we are looking forward to having our discussion tonight with our friends, the Radikals. Going to be coming on here in just a second. What's going on with you, Ken? Anything new in the last 2 weeks?
Surprisingly good weather. Played a couple of days of golf. Just a
Oh,
bunch of stuff that you don't want to hear.
great.
But
Yeah.
it's been
Thank you,
pretty nice up.
Melissa.
It's been pretty nice up here. But like up here, it's just like I'm waiting for somebody to flip a switch because it's gonna happen sooner or later, and it's gonna happen overnight. So
What are we
everything's
talking
going
about?
good. Nothing going on in the news. Somebody who has a website about Area 51 got their house raided by the FBI the last couple
Nice.
of days and took his girlfriend, according to him, at gunpoint in Las Vegas. He lives in Roswell. So interesting there, but and he has no idea why. Well, there's these thing called warrants that tell you the reason why you're being raided, but apparently you didn't read the fine print or something. So that's the only thing I stumbled across today that I thought was a little weird, but
Hey,
we'll stay tuned.
can you Google Earth, Roswell?
You can't Google Earth Area 51 because all you do is get a blank, blurred piece of real estate.
No, really?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Blacked out. There's a couple of other places like that too. You get a real good shot of Roswell, and then all of a sudden you get a Rorschach blot, where Area 51 is. So those days are gone. Can't Google Earth it. They
I
ain't going to
wonder.
let you.
I wonder what they're hiding.
You know, if you do Google it, you know, you're going to like on your door, you know.
I've got a no soliciting sign, so I'd be all right.
Yeah, that'll stop them, I'm sure. That ought to do it.
All right, Ken, let's get to this interview tonight. I'm looking forward to this. And
am
please feel free to do the introductions.
Okay, I will do that immediately as soon as I can pull it up here. There we go. Okay, while primarily working in the paranormal field on residential cases, this couple also works with various exorcists, demonologists, as well as other paranormal teams to remove problematic objects and contain them for safekeeping in their home and museum. And they have a lot of other things going on. Lauren is the co-founder of MassConn Paranormal. And Danny takes these items and puts them in something called the Museum of Wonders, which we have had the pleasure to absolutely, peruse and look over as he comes to various events. And he's also a designer of homemade talking boards. So we're going to talk a little bit about all of these things tonight. So without further ado, welcome Lauren and Danny Perez, the Radikals, to the show.
Hi.
Hey. And as you can see, they're coming live from the Robert Murch Museum. Oh my God, you guys are in competition. What is going on?
Yeah.
Actually,
did you notice the Screaming Jay Hawkins board right behind them?
Right.
Oh,
I put a spell on you.
sweet. One of my favorites. That's fantastic. Well, welcome, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
How you guys doing?
What are you gonna ask that?
There we go there. We're doing this.
You could.
All right.
We're doing this.
Ken, how you doing? And George, nice to see
Hey,
you.
I'm
That'd
doing
be nice.
all right. How you doing? You guys are just coming off a conference, an event, so that's why we appreciate you drinking as much coffee or whatever provides you the boost that you need to come in here and spend time with us tonight. So this is going to be interesting because we're on kind of a roll here on the show where we've been discussing some of the negative aspects of the paranormal. You know, next week we'll be talking about Broadway musicals or something just to get off of this. But for right now, it's probably a good idea because we've talked to a lot of people that are, for lack of a better word, pro-exorcists and people like that, deliverance ministers. The show George was alluding to last week actually was a pre-record from Wales in the UK with Reverend Doctor and about 9 other titles, Jason Bray. If you haven't seen that, you should check it out. It was an excellent interview. So this should be fun tonight because there's a lot to unpack.
Yes. And that's it.
And that's it. Good night, folks.
So I'm finding myself at a little bit of a disadvantage, as usual, because I'm stuck all the way down here in Hurricane Central. And, you guys are up in the Northeast area, same area as Ken. Give me a little bit of background, how you guys got into this field. Was it done as an agreed couple, or was this something that one jumped into and the other one said, I'm coming along?
Oh, well, actually, we were both into the paranormal before we even met each other. It was pretty wild. I mean,
we actually, I have the team with my daughter, MassConn Paranormal, and I was doing investigations long before I met Danny.
yeah.
And
in the meantime,
Yeah.
I was still doing the object removals for many years, and we met online.
yeah,
Tell the story.
yeah, we met on Plenty of Fish, and one of my sayings was, if you're brave enough, you can go on a ghost hunt with me. And
I was like,
he was
that
hooked.
sounds like fun.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
Right.
Sure.
That was your first, for you, Danny, that was your first ghost hunt on a date?
Oh, I've been on many ghost
Mm.
hunts. I worked with a couple other teams and stuff, and so it was like, yeah, that sounds like something I do for fun anyway. So yeah, let's give this a shot.
Yeah.
Marry that woman.
Exactly. It's hard to find someone with the same, interests. I mean, geez.
Come on, Danny. We all know what the play was. We're all men here except for Lauren. Come on. We're going to get her in a dark area. Let's go investigate this closet for the next 3 hours on the concrete floor,
Okay, group, let's split up. Lauren and me, let's go this way.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
You smooth talker.
So you find yourself getting into this field. You've been investigating, going to different locations, and you start to hone your skills. I think everybody eventually gravitates to a speciality, something that just seems to work for them. I know for me, for the longest time, I just loved doing EVPs and then gravitated towards doing spirit box sessions. Where was your direction going? Where were you finding the most fascination utilizing during investigation for you guys?
Well, I my best tool, the best thing that I use is myself. I use my all my senses. I try
Best
and
tool.
yeah, best tool. And
For me, it's any kind of audio recorder. I mean, I used to run a recording studio and things like that, and that's actually how I got into the paranormal. Back in the early 80s, I was watching this movie as a child called The Black Cat. It was an Italian film, and there was this elderly gentleman in the film, and he had this little reel-to-reel deck, and he was talking with the dead via graveyard. And I was like, wow, I've got a Radio Shack cassette player. Let's try this. And so I did as a child, and there were things on the tape that I couldn't explain, that I didn't hear as I was talking. And so it was wild. And I still go back to the audio. It's
Yeah, I got to call you out on this one though, Danny. You don't look past 40, so there's no way in the 80s you were doing this.
I'm actually 50.
Oh, God bless you. You look fantastic.
Both
Both of you look
Oh, yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, we're
Sure.
both 50. We just turned 50. Thank you.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. By the way, Ken, I did send you an extra bottle of Grecian Formula 49. I'm trying to put some on for
That's
myself,
great.
too.
It's like they're like these people who drink virgin blood and everything. I'm just not touching it. I'm not going there.
Old
This
fogies, man. I'm
is
telling
what
you.
you got. If I show up some week though, and this is all died, you know what? All of you out there, all the subscribers, listeners, you're gonna laugh at me. That's what you're gonna do. I know you are. I gotta show you something because you got one of these behind you.
Oh,
Yes,
yes,
we
Bob's
do.
board. Yep.
Got one of those sitting in my office here because
Still trying to figure it out.
I don't know. You probably got the same email I did about 4 years ago. Somebody was promoting them. We'd like to send you one. Yeah, all right. Whatever.
Okay.
I was going to give it to Vinny Pacheco because that's more his thing, but I don't know. Somehow it followed me in the move. I saw the Bob's board up there, and I'm just kind of like, oh, I got one of those things. I saw Elvira next to the Bob's board. I don't got one of those things.
Yeah, she's
What do we got Elvira. Where's that? Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Right up there, man. Right above Raimi.
Well, explain to our viewing audience, whoever wants to do it, what a Bob's board is. Of course, I'm very well versed in it, inside and out. But if somebody could explain it to our audience members who don't know.
Well, from what I was told, Bob's board is a board that some say was made by a serial killer, which you could figure out clues to via the board, different odd pictures that are on the board of where things happened or whatnot. And I don't know that it's ever been proved that it's a great marketing tool. I mean, I don't know if it,
Genius.
Yeah.
And everybody got a free. It's like
I see it up top.
Frampton. It's like Frampton Comes Alive in the 70s. Like everybody had the album. You have to have it.
Right.
So everybody's got a Bob's board. If you know what to do, just email us here at the station, and we'll figure it out.
Those of you in the chat, if you do have questions for our guests throughout the night, put it in there. We'll put a star next to it, and when we get a chance, we'll get to it for you guys. But what we're going to do at this point in time, I'm going to turn it over to Ken. I know he's got a lot to cover, even if he covers the whole first hour, because you guys have had a lot more interaction than we have. I might ask some academic questions later on, but Ken, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you, George.
Yes.
Our guests again on Dead Air tonight, Lauren and Danny Perez, the Radikals. So let's dig into the interrogation here. So, and I mentioned this before the show because we've run into each other quite a bit. You're great supporters of our charity event. Two of the nicest people out in the field. So what makes nice people like you decide that we are going to make ourselves available for some of the more negative aspects of the paranormal? What is it about your interest, your character, your approach, your faith, if that's part of it, where you said, was it just a point that, well, somebody's got to do it, or is this something that we think falls in line with how we want to go about our work as investigators, or where did it all come? Because I know you do residential cases, not all evil, it's not all malevolent, but you do put yourselves out there as like, hey, if you think something like this is going on, give us a call. Where do you get from point A to point B on that and say, yeah, that's our thing?
God,
Good.
no, go ahead.
Well, you never know what you're going to run into, for one thing. I mean, we enjoy helping people, whether or not we believe. For me, I'm skeptical of the paranormal, and it doesn't matter, because if someone's having a problem, we need to be available to try to help them. We do have a 14-page questionnaire where we can weed out various people, and we get into things like medications. There was one time we had a case where this guy was showing all the traits of schizophrenia, and you have to approach them where it's like, there's nothing wrong if you do have this, but maybe you should get this checked. And as of this day, he's very thankful. He's like, listen, I was schizoaffective and I'm on meds, and thank you guys for the help. It wasn't what I thought it was. It's all about helping people. That's what we try to do. I mean, that's for me.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know, Ken, if you're talking about the objects part of it, or are you just talking?
No, I'm just talking about the general investigation process that you go through without any kind of removal. That's the next step in this. Yeah. I
mean, it's a lengthy, like I said, it's a 14-page questionnaire. We'll tend to get the location about an hour and a half before the rest of the team, just to feel things out, just to make sure it's safe before other people come. And I'm not saying safe from demons or something like that, but you don't know what you're walking into as a person to another person's house.
Right.
I mean, we try to make sure the team is safe before they get there. There's certain ways you can do it.
Yeah. So where does, like, in that procedure, in your process, where does the clinical end and the spiritual begin? Or is it all kind of one thing where you go through your interview process? Obviously, I think you guys are pretty good at reading people, which is an underrated skill. We want to talk about EVPs and camera work and all the rest of this stuff, but interpersonal skills. And you said it, Lauren, your mind, your body is your best tool. And you got to have a feel for these things, but it's such an underappreciated part of what we do, because it's almost like a customer service thing. And it takes a while. It takes dozens and dozens and dozens of cases and different type of people you run into to be able to assess a situation and just kind of get a feel. Could be how they talk, could be their body language, it could be their demeanor, it could be the environment around, the books on their shelf, or, seasons 1 through 19 of Ghost Hunters sitting next to the TV, where, immediately you say, well, these people might be a little predisposed to believe in this stuff and want it to be there. So, yeah, I mean, isn't that something that you say you get there an hour before the group? Those are probably things that your radar's up. You're not giving it away, but you're looking around and observing.
And we also like the rest of the team to come in cold, to not really know much about the case, because we have a few sensitives in the group, and we like to see, if they hit anywhere near what we're being told.
Yeah.
And it gets pretty freaky sometimes.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. I go in myself. I can sense certain things in the house, but I don't say anything until we have the team come through. And then once we do the walkthrough, then we talk to the team and kind of see where they're at.
Right. And Danny, you're trying to dabble in those waters a little bit. My understanding is you're planting the seed on maybe kind of developing your own sort of perceptions about that stuff? Because I know you're an objective guy, but you know, hey, well, let me take the plunge here and see what the deal is. How's that going?
It's going great. I mean, there are things that I can't explain that happen. So that tells me, I mean, either I'm scientifically stupid in that aspect, or there's more to be learned that, I don't know. Well, obviously there's a lot to learn that I don't know about, but I mean, the paranormal, best I can explain it is, if you take the word supernatural, I don't really believe in that. If you take the word and break it into two words, supernatural.
Right.
I believe in things can be supernatural. I mean, Einstein said it. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Energy is natural.
Right.
So I'm going to be taking a psychic development class because, how can you disprove something if you can't prove it and you don't try? So it's like, you can't say you don't like chocolate if you never tried it.
Right.
So, well, hey, it's worth a shot.
Yeah, give it a go. The thing about science now is that what we're always battling against is everything is in a box, just like I'm in right now on your screen. It's much bigger than this box, but this is what we know about science. So anything that falls outside that box, is always looked upon and frowned upon skeptically. But to me, it's like the antithesis of science, not to want to know what's going on there. This is not a new phenomenon. This thing, about the paranormal and people seeing ghosts and things like that, it goes back like, 5,000 BC or more before that. People have always seen ghosts and everything like that, So it's why not try to do something along those lines and just kind of broaden those horizons a little bit? Because ultimately, we do it for two factions: the people who have put trust in us to call us in, and ourselves, because we're trying to build up our own knowledge base so we can apply it to future cases.
Yeah.
So I wanted to tell me a little bit about the objects now, because I know you're a collector. You both are at this point. And you look for these oddities and eccentricities and, the things that you collect. I've seen them, so we'll let you kind of talk to people about what that's about. And yeah, there are some haunted objects involved in that as well. But where do you come down on the whole idea that something, an object, a physical object, an inanimate object, is somehow dictating people's emotions, people's feelings, the environment they're around? Maybe they come from a different place. I want to talk to you a little bit about the idea of what people bring into their home that they suddenly turn to as an explanation for the bad stuff that's happening to them, and how you handle that. Do you just maybe take things to placate them and put them in a better place mentally, psychologically? Or is there a case that you run across, and what's the process to say, yeah, I think there's something attached to this thing, and I think that's the source of your problems? What's the yin and the yang on that?
You want to take that one, or you want me?
That's a difficult one. I mean, like, we have a case that's coming up, and it'd be the second time that we're going to the house, but the whole entire house is filled with antiques. So we don't know if it's actually an object. I mean, if they feel that it's something in the house that's bothering them, then yeah, we'll take it. But
do you do it by dates? Like, in other words, okay, when did this activity start? And then you try to line up, have you brought anything in the house just prior to that? Like, what's changed around here? Did you buy something? Were you gifted something? I mean, that's all part of the process.
Yeah. And like, when we get contacted to go somewhere with like something like an object or whatnot, we may not be able to get there for like a week or so. So we'll have them keep a diary, remove something from the house, that the last thing that you got or whatever, and, write about it, take a diary. We will be there, but, there is a
Yeah.
waiting period that
Yeah.
we can't go everywhere at the same time. But as far as like an object, I mean, they're not all haunted. You
No.
know,
Of
I
course
mean,
not.
if you go into something and you're going to be afraid, thinking you're going to be afraid, then you're going to be afraid. I mean, it's like using a Ouija board. If you feel you're going to get spooked, chances are you're going to get spooked because you're thinking you're going to get spooked. It's just that's just how it is. You watch a scary movie because you're going to get scared and want to be scared. You know, whether or not that is the problem or if that is part of the psychological aspect of it, you know, I can't say for sure. You know, I don't know, but if it works, that's all that matters to me. You know, we get that phone call saying, "Hey, I haven't slept in my room for 6 years, and I finally can sleep in my room." Well, if you think it was that trinket, great. We'll
Right.
hold on to the trinket for you. If you ever want it back, it's here.
Good
But,
idea.
you know,
Whatever works.
Yeah. You know, who am I to say? We don't know.
No.
You know, I mean,
No.
we can try to do, you know, EVPs with this, that, and every other thing. But, you know, I mean,
As long as they're able to sleep better at night, knowing the item is out of the house and
Yeah.
it's in a safe place.
it's all about quality of life. If it brings them back where they can function again and whatnot, then, you know, we can't say for sure. But that's all the proof I need.
Right.
Talk about physics for a minute when it comes down to haunted objects, right?
Mhm.
And you talked a little bit about energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Now, when we're talking about haunted objects, and this is where I come down on this, I have this kind of talk with Cody and Satori all the time, you know, with their museum and, you know, the things they bring in. It's not like energy can jump into an inanimate object. It's pretty much a case where energy can, you know, move this object, but it's not like they can combine. Just like a kinetic energy, a ball hits another ball and it moves, but it's not like a ball hits a ball and then they suddenly become one ball.
Right.
So is this more in your mind about an attachment to an object where somebody maybe, just like a haunting, comes in visitation? There's a rocking chair belonged to somebody, and I'm just going around the world right now. I think I'll stop in, check on my old rocking chair. So maybe they can manipulate this. Their energy somehow overcomes inertia, because the idea that it's like, you know, there's something in this doll, this inanimate object. I don't know if I'm going there, because I don't think you can kind of body jump into inanimate objects.
I know I would.
Making you think. What do you guys think about that as people who kind of see these things and store these things? Do you think that's the case, or?
I wouldn't want to be a doll. I would, I would just, just that's me. But I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, yeah. Oh, go ahead, Laura.
That's a difficult one.
It's something to think about. I mean, I honestly, I don't think there's much in here, if anything, that's actually haunted. I think there's stuff in here that's been looked at in a negative way, which can make someone think something is evil or bad. I mean, look at the wrap of the Ouija boards. I mean, people think they're horrible when back in the 1920s, it was a parlor game. I mean, it was uncouth for a man and a woman to be alone in a room together, but it was okay to take one of these pieces of wood and put it on your knees and play together. Oh, look how close you are. You're touching knees now.
Touching knees. It was scandalous.
It was totally scandalous. And now it's completely,
taboo.
You use Ouija boards? You have Ouija boards at your house? How can you sleep at night? Well, I close my eyes and I fall asleep.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's more of how you empower the object. I mean, again, if you feel like you're going to be scared by something, you're going to get scared by it.
Yeah. I had never used a Ouija board in my life for no reason. I'm not afraid of them. I just thought, like, why? So the other night we were doing something at all places, the Conjuring House. And they needed someone else to do a Ouija board. And Tiffany Rice was there, the owner of the house. And, and I was in another room. You want to do it? Nobody wanted to do it. And I said, I've never used one before. I'm the perfect vessel for you. because I am going to try to fight the feeling on this. And sat down and used it, and it was remarkable. Nothing happened.
Really?
It was spelling out words like "Meforf Borsush X and Y," absolutely nonsensical stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's all the intent, because when you get a Ouija board, if you buy one store bought, I'd rather have one of yours because you kick butt on yours. I want to talk to you about some of those. You buy one at the store, there's no instructions in it that says, get candles, go to creepy cemetery, surround yourself with candles, holy water. And it's like, no, we make up that stuff for just that little adrenaline rush, that little thrill, the X factor is us in those things. And then the next thing you know, we're opening up portals to demons. I guess what's the difference between that and, I don't know, addressing spirits on an EVP? On a recorder, maybe they're horses of a different feather. Maybe, I don't know, but
and I had someone come up to me and say that. Well, how can you use a Ouija board in investigation that's opening up a portal, this, that, and every other thing? And I'm like, well, it's still just communication. If you think that it's a thing that actually works, then it can't be any different than any other type of spirit communication. I mean, communication is communication. How can one be? I don't have a skull and, drinking blood and things like that. I'm just holding a piece of wood with the alphabet.
Yeah, that we're aware of. You're not drinking blood. Look at the way you guys look at 50 years old. Jeez. Okay, so you're on these cases, and some of them are more of the negative variety. And however you arrive at that conclusion after you've done an assessment, you've talked to people, maybe you didn't necessarily see something floating across the hallway, but you've come to believe that somehow something negative has kind of permeated their lives. Mm-hmm. Do you, again, this going back to looking at their surroundings, do you take into consideration things like family dynamics, medications, interpersonal relationships, the way the house looks? Because, you don't want to condescend to anybody, but sometimes you just walk into a place that's it's dirty, it's cluttered, it's messy, and it's a reflection sometimes of the life that people live, which in theory, I guess, can open themselves to a whole negative experience. I mean, that's part of the overall picture, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. And there's things and situations that you can do to rule things out. For instance, like in my bag, I've got baby powder, and people are like, "Oh, is a ghost going to leave a footprint?" No, but a mouse may.
Yeah,
and that can rule out that noise they heard in the wall. I mean, like you said, different dynamics. Medications is huge.
Huge. We don't just check the medications; we check mental health. If they're being seen by a psychiatrist, if there's, anything like that as well.
Another big part is, what is their faith? Everyone has a different faith or lack of, whatever, but I mean, if they're Jewish, we need to, we'll bring in a rabbi. They need to be comfortable with the situation before they can heal, however that may be.
Right.
The thing is that I've asked this question of a lot of people of the cloth. Do you have to be a believer in order for this to affect you? And to a person, they said no. Everyone from Bishop Long to our guest last week, Reverend Bray, to Bill Bean, to Carlin Keith Johnson, to everyone who's been doing this for a long time, said, do you have to be a believer? Because, rite of exorcism is kind of a Roman Catholic rite. Do you have to be Roman Catholic for these things to affect you? No. Do you have to then have faith to keep them at bay? No. So this is where I admit to being a little confused on this, because if these rights are going to be given, and you can talk about, your own experiences with these people who have done this, I would imagine there has to be a maintenance on this. If you don't believe in anything demonic or negative, but it can still affect you. I mean, it would seem to me that at some point you have to believe in the treatment going forward that's being given to it. Because if you don't, why would it just not automatically keep recurring? So I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but it would seem to me at some point you have to have belief in, whatever's being done to rid you of that. But they say no. So you guys have a thought on that at all?
I think you have to believe. I mean, you have to. I don't know. I mean, that's some heavy stuff there.
Yeah.
That's what we do here. I mean, I'm not to the point where I'm going to ask you what the scariest place you've ever been in. So, I got to ask you these thought-provoking questions.
That's awesome. Yeah, love it.
But I mean, so tell us a little bit about, without getting into detail, because obviously we can't in certain instances, start naming names and things like that. Mm-hmm. Have you ever either turned your phone somehow rotated there you go, you're back.
Yeah, there we go again.
Oh boy.
My hands are off the buttons. Have you ever referred a case to a priest or someone, could be a house blessing, I don't know about full-blown exorcist, rites of deliverance? Second part of that question, have you ever witnessed one in the time you've done this?
We have actually brought in a priest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had a case where the house was a family with young children, and one of the young children was being affected by something that was living in her closet.
Mm-hmm.
To the point of where at night she would try to move her bureau in front of the closet so that the thing in the closet would barricade.
And we actually did bring in the priest, and he did do a house blessing on the house, and
talked with them for a while too, as well, because coach them on and things like that. And then I mean, when everyone needs help, they're always part of their faith. But then again, you got these people, they probably just show up on Christmas and Easter, but you need that reassurance and things like that. And he spent the time with them, took the time and talked to them as humans, as regular people, and so far so good. And that was a few years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we still get the question at least once, maybe twice a year. When are the Ghostbusters going to come back and have dinner with us?
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten to the point at times on a particular case or cases where there's a little apprehension on your part? Not, let's go the other route. Not that somebody's yanking your chain, but that something legitimately may be here that's oppressive. Because this is what you signed up for. And we're all like that. Have you ever been scared? It's like, I've been startled. I've never run out of a place or anything yet. But at some point, it's what you sign up for, You signed up to welcome or encourage people to bring you things that are outside even the norm of the paranormal. This is not your just typical ghost wandering around the house or something like that. This is something, because when you start getting into people's belief systems, heaven, hell, demon, God, these are very, very serious issues. It's not just, I saw a shadow. Now you're coming into the very heart and beliefs of someone. And belief systems are powerful things.
Definitely.
In terms of your own, have you encountered cases where it's just, okay, we're going to take it on because this is what we do, but at the front door, you're like, okay, ready, go. A little bit of apprehension about, I think, there's a good chance that things are going to get real here pretty soon.
The last one we did, we got to the property and they weren't home. They were supposed to be home, and it just, something that the hair on the back of your neck goes up, and it's like, something doesn't feel right about this property. And every time she tried to get a hold of us, the phones kept getting disconnected, which, I mean, that could be anything, but at the same time, we were all on landlines.
Right.
So it was like, all right, well, let's go to this thing. Let's check it out. Let's do the interview. Let's bring in the team. And then we may have to refer this to somebody else.
Mhm.
You know, we may have to, someone with more experience, someone, it's no big deal if it's out of our league. You know, I mean, we'd rather have someone else that can handle it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We have no qualms about bringing in friends of ours like yourself and others that are in the business to help us out.
Old guys, in other words. Old
The
guys
more
like me. Old
experienced
guys.
ones.
Just say the word, Lauren. Just old guys like you. Do you, before I bring George back in here, I want to like flesh that out a little bit by asking you a question. When you refer a case to somebody along those lines, do you feel as though you should remain part of that case? Because a lot of people will tell you, we got it from here, Sonny, goodbye. And this has happened to people that I know.
We'll definitely go with them and everything, because it's basically our responsibility to make sure that they're okay. I mean, just hand them over to someone who could be psychopathic. No, we can't do that. We got to make sure, we'll refer them, but we refer them to come along with us, and we'll step in the back and just make sure that nothing strange.
A familiar face.
Yeah,
because there are lots of people who. Yeah, go ahead, Danny.
It's not only for their protection, but it's also for the clients as well, because they're used to us. We've spent that time with them. We went through their personal information with them, and then to just have a total stranger come in, that could be, very uncomfortable for them as well, because, they trusted us, and how could you do that?
Right.
So if we're there with them, it just, that whole comfortability factor for both sides.
Yeah, I think you got to stick to your guns, have the strength to your convictions on that, because a lot of people will like to send you on their way because of the ego issues.
Yeah.
Like if there's something here, hey, who knows? I could get this thing on TV. I don't want Lauren and Danny here, spoiling my buzz.
The way I look at it, if you can prove it, prove it. I have no qualms over whoever figures this out. Go for it.
Yeah,
I don't need my name attached to anything.
How you come to these things is trying to take care of people. So I don't think it's proper to say, thank you, you're no longer needed. It's like, yeah, we are, because they put the faith in us to reach out to us. And I want to see this to its conclusion, because it's not about me, it's not about them. And I want to make sure you're making it about them. Exactly. So with that, I'm going to disappear for a little bit and leave you in the capable hands of George Hurricane Lopez.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. What's the scariest place you've ever been to? Oh, no, we're not supposed to ask that. I'm sorry. We're going to move on from there.
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's a rule by Ken. Well, not mine. But I wanted to continue on that question-wise for your investigations. When do you defer and or refer your clients to someone else? Where is your limits when it comes to an investigation that you think somebody else needs to take over the reins?
It doesn't really depend on us. It's at the end of like an investigation or whatnot, our group will get together, we'll have a round table, and we'll all talk things over equally, because we all have different feelings, we all pick up on different things, and it's how you interpret things as well that's very important. And so we'll sit down, we'll talk about that, and then we'll have like a couple of days where we can all review evidence and footage and things like that and figure it out. And then from there, we'll have like a talk about everything, see how everyone feels, and what's the next step.
Right.
Should we continue on? Is it out of our league? Should we just bring someone else in? Do we need someone who specializes in something that we can't offer?
And I mean,
specify what are those things that you can't offer? Where is your limits?
Well, for one, no one on our team is a priest, so I mean, sometimes someone would just feel comfortable having someone do a house blessing, or take that as a first step before whatever else happens. And
hang on right there, because God bless you. And what I mean by that, both of you and your team, is that you haven't taken that short shortcut step of the online ordained minister. Now I can do all of these exorcisms myself. So bless you guys
Actually,
for doing that.
I gotta say, 8 years ago, I did do the ordained online thing, but I did it for a different reason. I did it because it came with a free press pass, so I could get backstage to do an interview with somebody.
but not in practice though.
No,
No.
no, no.
No, and but I mean that is, in this field that it's just that easy to jump into that role, and like as Ken was talking about the Conjuring house, and you watch the movie, and Ed Warren says, I've got to do the exorcism myself, kind of a thing. And he's one of the few that is actually ordained by the church to do that, but everybody just seems to take that role on because they figured if they've been blessed online that they're now capable to do this. So kudos to you guys for at least understanding there's a lot more to it, plus the risk involved with it,
Yeah.
which I want to get to. Is there ever a situation that you guys have ever experienced at this point in time where it has affected your home life? We'll talk about the aspect of free will probably in the second hour, but meaning it's affected the dynamic of Lauren and Danny. It's affected the dynamic within the team itself because someone or multiple people have been affected from a case.
I don't think it's affected us. I mean, I've had issues in the
Great.
past where things have tried to attach to me, but we've worked with our team, and before we leave a site, we do get the protection, the blessing. We do saging and
Blessing, cleansing, whatever you
cleansings.
feel comfortable calling it. I mean, yeah, it's just, even if it's simply a placebo, it's do not follow me home kind of deal or whatnot, or
But the home life with us, no. Danny, from basically day one of meeting you, he's been my protector. So
How is that sensation of, I guess we're really talking about here is an oppression during an investigation. Is that what you're experiencing, Lauren? What is this where something's trying to take you over?
well, it's
Description-wise.
sort of like an attachment. I've had things try to follow me home. I've had friends who are in the business who have messaged me and said, "Hey, are you okay? Something's not right." And I have the team over and they do a cleansing on me and ground me and everything. But it's been a while since that's happened. So I've learned to kind of CYA.
When those circumstances occurred, do you think that there's an expiration date on that protection from everyone? Is it to the very next case that you go to that you become susceptible again? Or do you think that there's some lingering effect when you're getting the positive energy from everyone around you?
I use, before we go into any investigation, whether it's a home investigation, which 99% of our cases are, or even if it's something that we do like for fun, I will use protection oils. I will use banishment oils before I go in, and I will make sure that I am covered before I go in for any investigation. So
These particular oils you're talking about too, again, there are many people out there who tune into the show. They're not part of a team. They're not really part of the field. Perhaps they are just experiencers. Are these things available to people out there? Is it something that they need to do the research on? And can you get more specific about what these particular oils are?
I can't remember her name. I actually got them last year at the Warren's Paracon, and she's a shaman and she mixes these oils herself. And I explained to her what the situation was and what has been happening in the past. And she just said, "Oh, you need to take these." And they're just bottles of oils that have incense in them and that kind of stuff. But I use sage a lot. I have a sage spray that I take with me.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they've been using oils for protection for
Yeah.
thousands of years. Hyde John the Conqueror, things like
Mhm.
that. And research is number one. Don't just go to a shop and if they tell you, oh, you need this, and not
Exactly.
this, and try this one. Check out, research it, Google it, not just once. Do it 5 times, 5 different sources, and then learn and figure it out.
And it helps if you have someone who you trust. Like a
Absolutely.
good friend of ours who has her own shop. I trust her. I know that what she's giving me is going to be for my protection.
Still research it though, because you don't want to know if there's
Yes.
side effects or whatnot, or
Yeah.
allergies and things like that. You don't want to just boil onions like, oh geez, what was that? It was battery acid.
Yeah, there are too many snake oil salesmen that are out there, and they are promoting things that definitely do not have the correct effect, and that's sage wisdom right there to be able to say, be careful, because it can not only have a spiritual effect on you, but also a physical effect on you if you're
Mhm.
not aware what it is that you're taking.
Mhm.
So those that are considering that or having some issues, uh, take heed before you decide to jump in with both feet, without question.
Mhm.
Residential cases. Let's get into that for remainder of this first hour. You guys do, again, the majority of your cases in homes. I started a team years back, did residential cases, scores, and eventually I bailed out, and I bailed my team out because of some of the conditions to which I encountered doing this, going to these homes and seeing how the house was kept, or not kept, I should say, how the children were being ignored, almost to the border of abused, because the parents were so fixated on the paranormal that it was dangerous. So I guess the first question, have you come across situations like that? And if so, how have you been able to maintain that hunger to continue to do this in residential cases, with that fear or fact that you might run into that situation where, and we've all talked about this, we've talked about this in the show multiple times. You go to a place, people say, I think there's a demon here. You do your investigation, nothing, there's no sign, nothing whatsoever. So you leave, and then they call in another team that goes, tightness in my chest. The minute I walked in, there's a demon here, no question about it. And they go, aha, I was right. All they're looking for is validation on that. You can come across those cases on a weekly basis if you answered every email, every phone call. So how do you keep level headed and still deal with what you're dealing with as far as these domestic cases are concerned, if you've experienced the things that my team already did?
Oh, we haven't. I would say the only case that we've ever come across that kind of made us go, was a case probably the end of last year, where the son was 18,
Oh yeah.
and well, they fashioned a Ouija board, and
Which is it's not really a horrible thing,
right,
but then they started talking more about when we were using it, we're talking at the time they were he was underage. And oh well, we fashioned a Ouija board, and then we were drinking alcohol, and then we started doing mushrooms, and then we dropped acid, and then we strange things started
yeah,
happening, and my mom was in the other room, and wait, your mom was in the other room and
secret.
she knew you were doing acid?
Yeah. So,
Mm.
yeah,
Well, can we join in on the investigation with you? That's not how this works.
right.
I mean, I get it. You're interested in the field and things like that, but you're not. You can't be.
Yeah,
You are the investigation. How can you be part of it?
right. But I think that was the only case that we kind of were scratching our heads on.
Yeah.
But
That was kind of weird.
yeah, but if it involved younger children, and
That's
as you
tough.
were saying, George, that's tough because we're grandparents. He's a stepdad. I'm the mom, and
I work in healthcare, so
Yeah,
I'm technically a
same
mandated
here.
reporter. So
Right.
if I
Right.
see something, technically have to say something.
I don't. I don't have that experience, that background to be able to do that. But what was expressed directly in front of me, and Ken, if you want to come back on the screen as we come to break, it's devastating to see when you walk into a home and there's feces on the floor, feces from the cat, overflow of diapers in the trash, dishes piled up on the sink, and the wife has a pentagram drawn on her hand, and she has copulous notes for her investigating in the house, the recordings, video recordings. She's got everything labeled. Her focus was almost at an obsessive level, and here's their son sleeping in the parents' room because it's his bedroom that is apparently demonically haunted. It's a terrifying thing to come across, and again, you wish that you did have more authority to step forward and do something to at least help that child. But again, the way that the laws work, you're always terrified that God forbid you do call DCF, any one of these organizations, Child Protective Services, and you're wrong, then you are legally responsible. So it's a scary thought. We are about to go to break here. When we come back on the other side, we'll still continue to talk with Danny and Lauren. We'll probably get into, again, more of the free will part of it. But you guys stay with us to the other side of the break. You're watching Dead Air Live on the Dead Air Full Spectrum channel. Stay with us.
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
As UFO reports come in from around the world, the Mutual UFO Network, MUFON, is there. We continue to explore new cases and build our massive database. We share our information with the world in a number of ways. If you would like to be part of our investigative team, you are always welcome. What could be more exciting than exploring the UFO question firsthand? Join MUFON, find your friends.
You're listening to the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. We provide unparalleled coverage of trending news in the world of ufology, cryptozoology, and paranormal phenomenon. Whether you're watching our video live stream or listening to one of our audio programs, you are getting the best from world-renowned researchers and hosts, guiding you through topics the mainstream won't touch. Miss one of your favorite programs? No problem. Head over to the members area at kgradb.com for access to our massive library of award-winning content. Make contact, stay connected. Only at kgradb.com.
And welcome back to the second hour of our show. Our very special guests tonight, Lauren and Danny. They are the Radikals. They'll be joining us here in just a second. Again, make sure you check out all of the content on kgradb.com and all the content right here on Dead Air Full Spectrum. And Ken, why don't you give a little bit of a lineup of what's coming up this week? And I know we're prepping something for Sunday. I don't know if it's been achieved yet.
Yeah, tomorrow night, the boys, Ron and Chris, are taking the night off, so they're going to replay an episode on the Wendigo, which was a very well received and had a lot of viewers on it. So it's your opportunity at 8 p.m. Eastern to check that out again. Thursday night, we are going to welcome back Elise Gianmarco Carlson and Carl Johnson. Their special guests will be from New England Paranormal Research, Joe Renone. We will be back Sunday. We are working on a very special guest right now. So we're just waiting for some confirmation. That may or may not be a pre-record based on, because this, again, may possibly come from the UK. So we're waiting for word on that, but we'll have something special for you. And of course,
is it Satan?
It is not Satan.
Not Satan. Okay.
It is not Satan, nor is it a vampire. We're in good shape. Madre mia. But a new episode of Extremely Strange has dropped based on the weird tale of one Granger Taylor, a brilliant engineer, inventor from Canada, and his mysterious disappearance. So we've got another one coming up and probably next week. So, and then in 2 weeks, Cody and Satori return live from the Haunted Museum. So a lot of great programming on Dead Air Full Spectrum. Give it a look and see if there's something that fits you.
If I may, as they say in Rhode Island, wicked cool stuff.
We like
do
to
that
think
accent.
so.
I can't do the accent you guys do.
That's wicked cool stuff. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
wicked cool.
Anyway, let's get back to our interview with our very special guests. Welcoming back up onto the screen with Lauren and Danny. The Radikals joining us. Why the Radikals? Why that name?
Yeah, that's my fault. Back in the 90s, I played in a few bands, and people knew me as Danny Radical, and then it was just a stage name. And with that stage name, I could do things. It was like a persona change, like the Ramones, Joey Ramone. And so we were the Radikals, and it kind of stuck because we played around for a few years, throughout New England, and people were like, "Hey, you're that Radical guy. You're a Danny Radical." So then I started, collecting these things before we added the paranormal, before you even around.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, Danny Radical's Museum. You got to check out Danny Radical's Museum." And so it was like, all right, I guess I'm still Danny Radical. And then when we got married, she's like, "Hey, I'm a Radical." I was like, all right.
And I kind of married into it.
Ken, why to this point in time, with all the different people that we've met in this, including our own producer, Bill, musician after musician after musician in this field, why we do not have a rock star band touring the country promoting the paranormal while they are performing is beyond me, Ken.
I'm on it.
Make it happen.
I'm on it. I know just the band. I'm on it. We may dedicate an entire hour of a future episode to a band coming in here and playing live for you. How does that sound?
I like it.
Does that work? Does that work? I can do that. One of New England's great jam bands.
Let's before I turn it back over to Ken, I have one question, follow up on what we were talking about, and let's address free will, guys, because it's a crucial part of investigations, what we're dealing with, whether it's in spirit form or human form. But in your particular case, when you're dealing with whether it be objects or person, that will, that intent, do you happen to discover during investigations whether or not those things that people have become apprehensive about, items in their home, that they may have indeed put their own free will or their own intent onto these items in a subconscious aspect, not doing it intentionally. But if you're focusing and focusing and focusing on the negative of a particular location, a vase, for example, or a doll, can they implant or imprint that energy from themselves, not every person, but some people, and create that scenario for themselves?
I would think
I
definitely.
would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's not that object, I mean, it's a scapegoat. Yeah, things have been weird ever since I got that piece. You know, it's got to be that piece. And I stubbed my toe the day after I got it, and now today I broke my arm, and it's just everyone hates Monday. Why? You know, it's just another day. It's got that stigmatized to it, and oh, I got to do this. It's got to be that reason.
Yeah.
It's almost in a sense where, again, it's that power of thought. If you guys are working with them now and they believe that the work you've done released the negative from that object, in sense, they're no longer focused on the negative on that object. So they're kind of releasing it themselves through you as a conduit of making them believe that it is now removed. Possibilities there, correct?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt.
Power of the mind is great.
Actually, more than likely, in my opinion, that's the thing.
Yeah. Well, we talk about energy vampires all the time, too, but we think in these circumstances, almost a reverse. You have the conduit. It's somebody where if you're going in there as an investigator, you could be subject to their emissions, the mental emissions coming out. It's no different. We talked about people who, after they've had a fight, you walk in a room and it's palatable what's been going on inside that room. So that kind of energy being pushed out from somebody can affect people, can affect objects, animals. It's an interesting perspective that we haven't reached yet. And I'll continue on this path on the other side after Ken grabs a hold of you guys again here too. But I'm really enjoying the conversation. I appreciate you guys being here.
Oh, we're
Thank
glad
you
to
for
be
having
here.
us.
Mr. DaCosta.
Yes, sir. We're going to get into some of the questions that are coming from chat in a bit. What I want to talk about real quick, because I would love for you to display some of the things that may be around you right now to some of the people in chat, because they love that stuff. So we might get some oddities here appearing on. But I wanted to ask you about something, and this is sort of administering to people. And a lot of times when they say this, people may get the wrong impression that we're pulling a con on them. But we talk about empowering people, where you literally have to claim your space back and not allow yourself to become a victim. And it's extremely important when you get someone who won't go in four rooms in the house, because they get a bad feeling. It's like, well, you're busting your ass, paying the mortgage on this place, and, you won't go in 4 rooms, So a lot of times we'll tell them, do an affirmation, like literally stand in the middle of the living room. You don't have to get confrontational or be provocative. You can just, claim your space back. And sometimes it works, and they say, it's like, I haven't been bothered. And that's the best possible outcome. But sometimes when we talk about the placebo effect, and we're not trying to con anybody, but sometimes to say it out loud and to affirm your spot and to empower yourself, as ridiculous as it may sound to stand there and talk to nothing. It's like, hey, I do EVPs in the dark. Who am I to say talking to something is not there? But how important is that, and how often do you use that as a tool in your toolbox to sort of like have people self-administer to themselves? It's like, we'll help you, but here's one of the things you can do for maintenance, because if nothing else, it'll make you feel like you're reclaiming your spot in the world.
Oh, definitely. It's very important. I mean, it's like when you call a plumber to come in and do something, he does his job, but you still have to maintain what he did. I mean, you have to keep that affirmation going. I have actually tried the placebo effect unknowingly on my ex-wife. I mean, we were driving home from Auburn, Massachusetts.
Okay.
and she had a migraine. I mean, a splitting migraine. You could tell it was affecting the lights and everything like that. And I was in my head, my wheels going, and we still got an hour before we get home, and this is horrible. We don't have any medication or anything. So I was like, listen, I know an old home remedy, but we need round ice cubes. Check the Arby's cup that we just left. Is it round ice cubes? And I had seen when they were putting the ice cubes into the thing that they were round. So I was already ahead of the game. So, and she's like, oh my God, yeah, they're round. I said, oh my God, this is great. Now what you got to do is you got to take a handful of the ice cubes, put them on your forehead where the migraine is coming from, and scream at the top of your lungs, anything, just scream. And she did that very thing. And then she put her hand down, and the ice cubes were in her hand. She looks at me and she's like, son of a bitch, that worked. And I was just, in my head, I was just like, all right. I've never heard of it.
It's a variation on the old Gregorian chant, Owatagu Siam, right? Let's get to a couple of questions from chat here, and then I'm going to send you on your way if you'd be kind enough, Danny, to, whatever you got hanging around,
Yeah, a couple things.
Okay, so our first question comes from our buddy Ron in Minnesota. I guess this refers back to you, Lauren, when you were talking about this. This popped up around the same time. I guess the gist of it, do you have physical issues like headache or stomach issues that accompany this feeling that there's more than one person in there or an attachment?
Actually, yes. A good friend of ours, I had brought it up to her one day. I don't understand. Every time I go into a place that is haunted, I belch, I burp. And she says, oh, well, that's your early warning system. And so stomach issues, yeah. So I will start to get the gurgling and the burping. And
that's when she's like, oh, we got to pay attention to this over here. Something's not right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a charming early warning system.
I know. Isn't that great?
It's like, Lauren, I just let it go, and I'm among my team and friends.
Well.
And you're sure it's not the Arby's?
Positive. I'm not the ex-wife.
If he brings out the round ice cubes, Lauren, just call him on it.
I will.
Michelle Lavelle asked, do y'all know anything about Korean soul dolls? Apparently, we have one waiting for us at the post office. We ordered 11 months ago, custom made. I know what a Korean soul doll is and what it looks like, but do you have any insight on that? What the meaning or representation is for it?
I personally don't. Do you?
I've never even heard of them before.
I've heard of them, but just have no experience with them.
Yeah, it's the first time I've heard of them.
Michelle, if nothing else, we're honest here, so we'll have to, you're going to chase me to Google, aren't you? I'm in the middle of a show right now. So with that, maybe a little treat for you. Danny, who's hanging around over there that you think that you could share with us?
Ooh.
I'm sure I can go grab somebody real quick.
Okay, I'll give you some background music while you're gone.
Alrighty.
Perfect.
Okay, I have to introduce us. Oh, I know who that handsome gentleman is.
Oh, yeah.
I was told at the last event that I attended with Danny and Lauren that it would probably be a good idea because he was packing up, and I was about to hand him this object, and he said that's probably not a good idea on your part. So I considered the ramifications of it, and I said, "Oh, the hell with it! I'm going to do it anyway." So I handed it to him, but so far I'm in pretty good shape. So, Danny, who are we looking at right now?
This is from the African Congo. This is an Nkisi Nkandi. Nkisi means vessel, and Nkandi means hunter. So it's basically a spiritual hunter for revenge. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bunch of nails that are pounded in. There's metal shards and ropes that are tied. and each one is an intention, a binding, and it's basically a doll for revenge. I mean, we were told from the person that had it that they know of 2 instances where this was involved with a death, whether it be coincidental or it acting out that revenge. We can't really say, but we were removing it from a house. My brother was with me on this one, and I had a bunch of Ouija boards in my hands that needed to go as well. They didn't want them there anymore. And my brother was like, "Oh, I'll carry this." And I was like, "No, maybe I should carry that." And he's like, No, I got it. I don't believe in this crap. And I said, "Well, don't have to believe in it. Just let me carry it." He's like, "Nope, he got it." So he was carrying it, and it was in the little crate that it's in now as well. And he's walking, and he touches his stomach area, and he's like, "Listen, this better not be a fertility doll because it's burning where that is." And yeah, we're done with kids. And I was like, "No, let's tell you what, just give it to me." And he's like, No. And within the next week, he got a phone call from a doctor that very spot. He had contracted pancreatic cancer.
Wow.
It was a very rare type of cancer that affects 0.00001% of adolescent females. So, which was great because I got to tell him that, I always told you were little girls, and now we have proof. And but the cool thing is the cancer was operable. It was he needed no chemo. They took the back half of his pancreas off, and he's living life fine. He hated this damn thing at first, but he contacted me tonight, and he's like, "Listen," he's like, "I don't know if it contracted it or if it just alerted me to it or if it was just coincidental." He's like, "But I actually kind of like that thing now because if I hadn't done that, I probably would have never known that was going on in my body."
You look at that silver lining. So all of those spikes in the rope is done with an intent. Those aren't like binding kind of materials or anything, right?
Yeah, it's done with an intent. It's in a this crate. There's a basket that it's in. Also, the baskets usually don't survive because this piece, we believe, comes from the early 1920s. It's made out of ironwood, hand carved. The basket is lined with feathers and shells. The whole earth and wind thing. The key component is right here in the belly. In the belly, that's
Right.
where a mirror usually sits in the belly. There's herbs that go under it, and it's said that the mirror is the gateway to allowing it to seek the revenge. So I've removed the mirror, and we keep that in a safe place. And it is what it is.
My goodness. So what do you think about that, subscribers?
Yeah.
Interesting piece. It's pretty unnerving, and even more so when you see it up close live, as I did, just handing it around like, the what again? Okay,
Yeah.
like I couldn't get it out like here. I'm going to be a cool guy about it, but here you go, Danny. You can take
It's
this.
this piece is actually going to be on Hulu and the History Channel. New TV show called Repossessed. They
no
wanted
kidding.
to have it on, and the people that were on the show were just like, they were freaked out.
Yeah, they probably get a spinoff. Some that guy will get his own show. Him and Reverend Bray's organist, which you have to watch that episode to know what the hell I'm talking about now. But very good. Anything else around there, Dan?
I do. Let me. I'll be right back again. It'll only take you a second. It's not going to kill you, Lauren.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I'm not a huge fan of that
Back on.
thing.
See what does Danny have for us here that he's bringing in? Lauren skedaddles. Oh, here we go.
No, I don't have to skedaddle. I don't have to hold it. So.
Oh, I think I know what this is. I'm going to get out of your way while you explain that.
Okay. Well, this is a fork. Yeah. What's so terrible about a fork? Well, if you believe that things have a memory or have a past or whatever, then this one has just that. You okay over there, Lauren?
Yeah. Yep.
You can't really see it, but she's over there gasping.
Yeah, hold on to this one.
Yeah. This fork was actually in police lockup until last year. And you're all like, well, why the hell was a fork in police lockup? Well, this is a fork that belonged to Jeffrey Dahmer, and that, well, he used to eat people with.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, I got it, Lord. I got it.
you.
She's getting nauseous over there. The thing is when they look at the face, when they went into his apartment, they realized the things that were going on in the apartment, and so, okay, well, we have a problem. And then as they started investigating a little more, they realized, well, cannibalism is involved. So, okay, now things have to get a little more involved, and now the silverware and cutlery are now crime scene evidence and cannot be destroyed. So it was put into police lockup until last year. And last year, all this stuff was released to his father, Lionel, who wanted absolutely nothing to do with any of it. And it went to, it was a high-class collector, and got a lot of the stuff and said, we know you dabble in things with dark energies and dark pasts. Would you be interested? And I was like, well, yeah, I'm always down for some research. Let's see what we can do with it. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. I mean,
I would say, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Dead Air spin-off version of Antiques Roadshow.
George still is just.
George,
you okay
is-
over there, George?
George, you get the part where he ate people with that.
I would not want to be the person to do psychometry on that device.
That's the problem with Lauren. She's dabbling in psychometry,
Oh,
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
yeah, we did a lecture at a retirement
Retirement
home
home.
last month, and she almost passed out. It wasn't in a case quite then.
I
We
was
had-
just holding the fork.
she was holding it, and not a good idea.
No.
Good Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, where can you go? Where can you go on the internet to get this type of entertainment, to get this type of education, to get this type of background?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll bite.
It's like, I think we should have a round of applause for Jeffrey Dahmer.
Ken, the interesting thing about this is that we did the Sleepy Hollow Paracon
A couple weeks
a couple
ago.
weeks ago, and it was 2:00 in the morning, and we had leftover Chinese food and no fork.
We had no utensils, but I had this, and it wasn't in a case yet. And
I don't like where this is going.
She-
I don't even
she's
like where
laying-
this is going.
she's laying on the bed, and I'm sitting over at the desk. And the case that it was in was also with a black magic ritual skull that we have, because we were showing that as well. And they just happened to mingle in the same case. And I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at her, and I look back at the fork. I look at her, and she's shaking her head no. And I'm like,
no.
all right. So I use my fingers.
I ordered Chinese food. Number one, some young guy. What, too soon?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It
Too
was close
soon?
though. It was
No?
close.
Anyone?
But also on the back of the fork is a spot that's not rust.
Yeah, it's not rust. We're not sure what it is, and I didn't want to scrape it off because in police evidence, they're not allowed to, they can't disinfect it. They're not going to clean it because you could be destroying evidence. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave it intact because we don't know quite what that is just yet. And so, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Jeffrey Dahmer's fork. It's like, anything else you want to show us, Dan? Or
Let's see. Let me just pick up the camera here because we'll take a little walk around here.
this hour of Dead Air Paranormal is brought to you by SerialKillers.com, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, we have various stuff that we've removed from houses.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. There's
Wait.
What?
You removed that from houses?
Yeah, various houses. What are we looking at?
Well, I'm looking at the tribal mask. I'm looking at the
Yep.
doll. I'm looking at a coffee cup, which may or may not be part of that.
Well,
Actually-
they're all from different cases, but they're all
Well, the coffee cup actually comes from
the Stanley. Excuse me.
Stanley Hotel.
Yeah.
My mom and dad went on their tour, and my dad decided to take home a Stanley Hotel coffee cup for me.
Okay, what's the story with poor Yorick there?
Well, this is a human skull that was said to be used in black magic rituals, and as you can see, there's a piece missing from the skull cap there. That piece was fashioned into a sacrificial dagger and supposedly used, and has never been found. Since we removed it from the residence, everything's been okay.
Okay.
But not everything is, supernatural or paranormal. I mean, we've got lobotomy tools. There's a human brain in the jar over there.
Oh, of course you do.
Yeah,
Of course,
Home's not complete without one.
Right.
No.
We've got Bigfoot casts from Paul Freeman.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, great stuff. There's so much stuff in here. We've got in the living room. We've got, I don't know if you can see it. There's just a casket it's a cooling casket from the Civil War.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like one of those things you floated down a river or something.
No. You should have seen though, like doing all these renovations and stuff. We had to bring the assessor in, and the assessor was just like, "Are you serious?" So
Yeah.
that was interesting.
So when you visit Danny and Lauren and they ask you to come into their living room, maybe to watch the game or something, hey, don't you judge.
Exactly. We were worried, but she was actually very intrigued, and she's like, "I have to take pictures, but can I take some for myself as well?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, go for it. Why not?" So
And when you take the show on the road here to different conferences, I would imagine. Well, first, let me ask you this round figure. Over the years, what's your collection look like? How many items are in there? You got to be up in the mid hundreds, high hundreds, maybe more.
in the parlor, there's probably 200 or 300 items in here, if not more. In the attic, there's probably just as much that Lauren has never seen before. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that predates her. I mean, yeah. I don't know.
Goodness.
So, Ken,
Do some? Go ahead, Lauren.
do you remember back in the 90s about a woman who had a satanic toaster?
Satanic. Come again, please.
Toaster.
It was on ABC News. There was this tabloid thing, and she's, it makes satanic toast, and it was giving her messages and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it like Satan's face on it or something like that?
The bread would come up and it would say Satan lives and things like that. But
Sure.
we actually have that very toaster.
All right.
We've never plugged it in quite yet, but if you Google it, you'll find it. It's hilarious. It's very tabloid.
Oh, yes.
But it was, let's go over to this case over here.
Yeah, that's definitely National Enquirer level stuff.
Oh,
Yes,
without a doubt.
definitely.
We've got
Killer car.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the killer car. Some say that this car was inspired Stephen King to write the book Christine. It's called Golden Eagle. It's an old 1964 Dodge 330. It was a police car, Old Orchard Beach, Maine, and just had a bad reputation of killing people. Crazy.
Christine at the prom.
That's it. Yeah. There's prison shivs here. We've got prison shiv. Actual blood money. It's from a dead hooker. Yeah.
Well,
All kinds of.
The collection's complete with that.
Right. Oh, this right here. This is a human tail. Every so often, someone is born with a human tail. And this particular person He was from Germany, and his fiance said, "I love you to death, but you got to get rid of that thing." So that's where I came in, and I was like, "Listen, I'll help you pay for the procedure, but I want to keep the tail." And here it is, a human tail. I think that's the only legal way you can actually buy a piece of tail.
Yeah.
So not everything is haunted. There's a lot of stuff in here that's just curiosities. Let's go up over here.
All right, Lauren. Okay. I mean, there's got to be a story behind that. What an adorable painting. I mean, what could possibly be wrong with that?
Right.
Well, this is actually an original Giovanni Bragolin painting of the crying. Well, it's a crying boy, but it's a female, so it's a crying girl.
He did very few crying girls. The crying boys, if you check it out online, there's a supposed curse that goes with it, where all the houses, or most of the houses they've been in, have burned to the ground. We got a call about this piece from a art dealer in New Jersey who had it in her storage locker and was afraid that something bad would happen because she was starting to get really good stuff in her storage locker, and said, "Listen, will you come take it?" And so we did. And she's like, "I'm sorry, it smells." And we're like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Well, I got it from a house that burned down. The only thing that didn't burn was the painting." So yeah, we keep it next to the pellet stove. So that way, if it does like fire, well, it's right there.
Well, I mean, there's got to be balance in life. So
Exactly.
You got to have balance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. It all looks pretty normal to me, guys. You know?
Yeah. It's typical house.
Yeah. Apparently, your roof is on fire there behind you, or
Oh no, that's just the
type of lava situation.
That's ambiance. It's a little. The stove's not on right now, so we got that on there to quell the crying girl. So that way she's just like, all right, it's close enough.
All the comforts at home.
That's
That's
right.
right.
Yeah, I love it. Amazing. Thank you so much for putting us through that.
You're welcome.
I mean, taking us through that.
That was just the tip of the iceberg. I mean,
The tip of the iceberg. Yeah, I was afraid you're going to say something like that. My goodness. So, well, and then of course there's a stuffed turkey.
stuffed turkey.
Stuffed turkey.
We've
We've
got-
got deer heads. We've got
We've got everything. There's
we got a cat.
oh yeah, our cat Walter.
Hello, Walter.
Walter, where are you? There he is.
Cats are just so finicky, aren't they?
Yeah, well, back in the days, they used to put cats in walls for good luck back in the colonial times. And that's where Walter, what happened to Walter?
Fantastic. And now we're back to Ouija Board Central. One of the other things I want to touch on real quick before I bring George back in here to give everybody a little example of some of the things you've got going on. How is the Dead and Breakfast situation going?
Well, we're looking at, we want to open up our parlor museum to the public in the spring.
Mhm.
And then in the fall of next year, we want to open what we call a Dead and Breakfast. It's going to be a little different than the usual kind of thing. I mean, our house isn't that big, but we're remodeling it. And the thing is, we got it really cheap because the previous owner put a shotgun in his mouth and pulled the trigger right about where Lauren's sitting. So we have that.
I introduced you as probably the two nicest people in the paranormal. I mean, I really did, you know. And it was.
But yeah, there we go.
George!
Hey, we're back.
There's actually still the stain of
The-
the blood on the
he's,
floor.
he's still
You're
there.
you're not booking any more guests, Ken. That's that
Well,
face.
Here's the thing, though. This is where it gets better. It's like I said, the house isn't that big. Look at him creep away. It's not that big. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have like 4 or 5 cottages on the property that are gonna be horror themed, like the Shining Shed, the Psycho Shack,
the Halloween hut.
and you can stay in these cottages, but at the
The
same time,
Dahmer Dojo.
oh, that's a good one. But
Yeah, you can use that. You can use that. Go ahead.
Thank you, Ken.
Go on.
But the house will be open as well. You can come into the museum. There'll be a paranormal research lab. maybe we can talk to Pete. Pete's the guy that sat over here and pulled the trigger. He's been kind of, since we've been doing
Active.
renovations, like I said, I'm a skeptic, but I've been seeing shadows in the other room that I can't really explain. And Pete was a woodworker, and a lot of his fixtures that he made by hand, we had to remove because they were so outdated. And ever since then,
Oh my goodness.
So, but that's be part of the Dead and Breakfast. Lauren's an amazing cook. We have 2 hearses in our fleet that maybe middle of the night we'll jump in a hearse and go for a ride or whatnot, and
Go legend tripping
or whatever.
Oh,
It is one of our.
it is.
That's
They're
Vincent.
not, they're not kidding, folks. That's their hearse.
Yeah, that's my daily driver. I drive that thing everywhere. You should see, like, when we brought it to our wedding.
Yes.
Marco wants to know where in Jersey you are. What exit?
We're actually in Connecticut, the northeast corner, right where Connecticut meets up with Massachusetts and Rhode Island.
There you go. Close to
Yeah,
home.
it's
And
going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be affordable, and it's going to be one of those things where we want to hear your story as well. We want to, let's figure this out. Grab something. Let's research this. Let's put it in your hands. What do you think? What's your objective? We're curious. We want to know, and at the same time, let's all have fun.
That's a good
And
way.
also, one of the things that we have never used in the house is any paranormal equipment.
No,
We've
we've never.
used any paranormal equipment in the house. We have never used a Ouija board in the house. So
Not for any particular reason. It's just we're always using them elsewhere. So it's like, don't bring your work home.
And some of the other things you go, of course, there's the Creepy Chronicles.
Yeah, we're hoping that's going to get going soon. We want to do this as a podcast. We think we have producers for it. And eventually we'd like it to be like a small video series. I mean, I was highly inspired as a child by In Search Of with Leonard Nimoy, and to be able to do something of that. Oh, that's just, Lauren will come home from work, and I work third
that's all I
shift,
hear.
and she'll hear, yep, there's that episode with the plants and the lie detector. It's like, yeah, guilty.
And of course, you got the Gravediggers Union, and this is something that Danny does. And I wish I would have had the time or the forethought to put some examples of custom talking boards that he makes. And you can see one to the left of the upper head of the skull, shaped like a coffin.
Yep.
And it's just some absolutely incredible work on these things. They really are gorgeous.
Now we're actually making these now out of actual coffin wood. I've teamed up with a casket company here in Connecticut, and I get my wood
of
from
course
them.
you are.
I mean, you got to go that extra step. I mean, it doesn't make it more powerful. I don't know, but it sounds really cool that they're made out of casket wood. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's a wax bonus. And of course, this is how I first met Danny and Lauren, and from the Museum of Wonders. And I think we had a little bit of taste at the strange and unusual anomalies, mutants, oddities, aberrations.
Got it.
And are you still doing the sauces?
We are. We're doing sauces. We've expanded now into peanut butters, where we're actually making our own peanut butters. We'll take the nuts, we'll grind them up into a butter, but then we go one step further, we blend them. So we have things like taco peanut butter, ginger wasabi. What else, Lauren?
Maple bacon, Elvis.
Which
is peanut butter, banana, and bacon.
We're working on a smoked whiskey peanut butter.
The first time I had tried them was at an event in New Hampshire. And I had known you guys already for a couple of years. And I'm like, the hell is that? Oh, it's like dipping sauce. Try it. So you have some like pita bread or chips. And oh my God, I'm going to tell you, it was just like amazing. I was just trying to create a diversion so I could just take off with a jar, I'm not sure what flavor it was, but it's pretty amazing stuff. So
yeah, that was probably the regular barbecue sauce that we make, and it's barbecue and dipping sauce.
We've got new ones out though that we're working on still, but we also have a taco sauce.
Okay, some people were asking for something a lot more hot You know, they want spicy to the extreme. So we're working on a blend that's 1,000,000 Scoville. So yeah, I'll probably taste it. So it's just
stuff. So I mean, the basic theme is you've got Dharma's fork, you've got dipping sauce, and a bed and breakfast to come, ladies and gentlemen. You know, where else could you go?
Well,
it's
like the thing is,
for you.
When we do this stuff like with Gravediggers Unions and the sauces and the conventions that we do, we sell our eccentricities and the peanut butters. That what we use that for is to fund our expenses for when we do all these paranormal investigations. Because
I thought you were using it as a front for some type of.
Oh
no, we use it to fund that because we never charge for what we do. I mean, how do you charge for something? You know, it's not like we're exterminators. We can't say, "Hey, the rat's dead. Here it is." You know, I mean,
of course.
So we've been offered a couple months ago. There's someone came out with a roll of cash. I mean, a roll, and he's like, "You've been here for 6 hours. You have to take this." And we're like, "No, we don't. We can't prove anything either way."
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if you feel like you need to do something personally, donate to your local food bank in your own behalf or your local animal shelter. We pay for our stuff via these shows that we do selling our wares.
Yeah.
God bless you both. You guys are so much fun. You really are. I love hanging out with you guys. I love talking to you guys. Two of my favorite people in the paranormal. We're not ready to sign off. I just needed to say that because you truly are two of my favorite people along this weird journey that I've had for almost 50 years. You guys are standouts. So,
thank you,
George. I'm going to go throw up a little in my mouth right now. So I'm going to leave you with Danny and Lauren for a bit. Oh, God.
Must be nice to be in the Northeast and just have a chance to meet each other. I'm next to a senior citizen retirement home. It's all right. Question from the chat very, very quickly. Hey, guys, do you both have seminars? You seem like you would like to teach as well. I guess seminars, everything from, people who collect to people who investigate.
Yeah, we don't do any seminars. We do lectures on various things that we do and things like that. I mean, I would definitely say, we'd love to have when the Dead and Breakfast is up and running, or even before that, we'd love to have people over and hang out and talk about things that we do and things that they do as well. Because, I mean, as far as paranormal investigating goes, is there a wrong way as long as you do it with respect? I don't think there is a wrong way.
No.
If you respect, you go in with respect, there's no wrong way because it's never been proven nor disproven for that matter. I mean, so yeah, we're all learning.
Yeah.
The wrong way is not to do it at all.
There you go.
That's the whole thing. I mean, we've come across the same situation where we've been offered up payment for services and said, listen, this is a field of study. We are being paid by the experience, everything that we're learning, and we hope to build upon that.
Right.
I have a redundant question. I have asked this, and I'm really not satisfied. I've not gotten the answer that I have looked for so far. We've had John Zaffis on, talked about his museum. We've had Cody and Satori talk about their haunted museum, and now giving a fantastic tour. We appreciate it, by the way, of all the items that you've collected. And yet, with so many of these that have come from residential cases, people have had trouble in these circumstances, problems with these items, and now they're all collectively together, whether it's yours, John's, Cody, Satori's. Why isn't it I guess an explosion of activity going on with all of these collective together? How is that kept, other than what you would do ritualistically, at bay, not having some sort of chaos created in that environment?
Yeah, I'm a supernatural skeptic, so it's like, if it's going to have power, it's going to be because I gave it to it, and I don't give it power. I give it respect. I mean, is it possible? I don't know. I mean, someone told me that I was First Nation blood and I'm a protector and this, that, and every other thing, and it's possible. I have no idea. I can't go either way on that. What do you think, Lauren?
I don't know. I mean, I completely believe that Danny is a protector of the items, but he also keeps. They did say that that's the reason why he doesn't experience anything. We have heard things in the past in the house, but nothing has been bad or
nothing's
funky or
been bad.
anything like that. I do sage the house at least twice a month just to make sure that I'm safe, because I am here
Right.
a couple nights by myself,
Yeah,
especially now.
I work third shift, so there's nights where, you know, it can get a little creepy if you're here alone, kind of deal. I mean, we've got like 2,300 acres on one side of federal forest and like 2,000 and behind us that's wildlife trust. So
Right.
yeah,
You
But
you hit
nothing
on
really
something,
bad.
and that because your background, your experience, whatever the culturally may be within your DNA, you can apply that to a John Zaffis or Cody and Satori or others who are collectors out there. But you may have struck on something else, which I never thought of until you mentioned it too. The possibility, excuse me, that when these items are in these residential homes, that maybe they are displaced in a sense, and they have found the proper home almost as if it was predestined to go with the two of you or to go with John Zaffis, where there is a tranquility. It was always supposed to be that final resting place where it winds up. I don't know, but it
that's
certainly,
interesting.
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
it's just the stopping point was those other homes, and this was its
yeah,
its actual destination was where you live now.
yeah. Well, one of our pieces that we have, George, is a partial grave marker, and which is also on that new show that's coming out, Repossessed. And we found out that there is a young boy that is attached to it, and we've actually kind of been adopted as his parents to keep him safe.
It was a grave marker for from Danvers State Hospital, and supposedly this person was upset. And this piece was obtained legally by a film crew that was working there as a memento of the work they had done, because they were changing the markers out at the time. And he brought it home to Canada and things like that. And strange things started happening. And they called in a psychic and stuff. And the psychic was like, listen, I don't know what this piece is, because he was using it as a paperweight on his desk.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know what this is, but it's angry. It's very angry. He explained what it was. And she's like, listen, I know this guy in Connecticut. You need to contact him. He'll take it off your hands and keep it safe and whatnot. And supposedly the person that was the grave marker was attached to was very upset because they were a number and not a name. I mean, they their whole life, they went through this whole institution and
he had epilepsy.
So I mean, there's no way we can prove this, but it's comforting, you know. I mean, supposedly his name was Donald.
Donald, yeah.
It was basically only acknowledged for its weight and not for its history and not for its identity. And you guys have respected the identity of every piece you have in your home.
Oh, yes.
Without a doubt, yes.
I think that might be a key. That's something we have to look at. Lauren, now, again, third shifter. So Danny's out of the house in the middle of the night while you're asleep. With the abilities that you have, do you have dreams of some of the items that you take in? Or is it just relevant to the newest item you've brought in? Or does something else come up, if at all?
Honestly, I do dream a little bit, but not as much as he does. His dreams are really messed up. But the only thing that I've heard lately is I've actually heard the former owner running around or walking around the house, heavy boots going through, rapping on the walls. Usually I'll sit up around 2:00 in the morning and be like, Pete, you need to cut the crap. I need to go to work tomorrow. And it quiets down. Besides the painting, that's probably the only other thing that I've ever experienced in the house.
One last question with a quick answer because we got to wrap it up here soon. The Jeffrey Dahmer fork. Have you or anyone in your team or anyone that you're aware of tried an EVP session with that fork?
Not yet, but that is in the future.
For the Disney Channel, isn't it? It's for the Disney Channel.
It's the educational part, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. You never know. You guys, I tell you what, and Ken, if you want to come back on screen too, are a fantastic contribution to this field in more ways than most people could possibly even imagine. And we thank you for taking the time after a hectic day. And based upon every screenshot that Ken has put up there, banner wise, every day is a hectic day for the Radikals. And we thank you for that. What's coming up here very, very soon? What are you guys going to be doing for the next couple of months now that Halloween is over?
Next couple of months, we're kind of just going to be getting ready for next season.
It's our vacation time now.
Yeah, we're going to finish up some home renovations and get ready for the spring. Yeah, we're just going to
get ready for the next season of paranormal.
Yeah, well, on Friday, we've got a residential case.
Yes.
Those always come first.
Mhm.
And yeah, we'll take it from there. Yeah. We just one day at a time.
When are you going to invite Ken over to your house for a meal with a nice fork?
Oh, anytime.
Anytime you guys want to come over, just let us know.
Yes.
I'll bring my own silverware.
Please.
Don't mind.
I'm still trying to get into the Conjuring house for the first time, which it shouldn't be the first time because I wrote a book with Andrea Perrin. Okay.
Oh, nice.
And
yes.
and I've still not been. I'll send you guys a copy. I'll try to haunt it for you so you can put it on your shelf.
There we go.
It depends if you're a reader or not, because some people are readers. And
Definitely.
All right, yeah, I'll get one to you. I shouldn't say that. Bill Forte is somewhere lingering in the shadows, going, "Damn it, I haven't gotten mine yet."
I got my book yet.
We'll get it to you, Bill.
I'm strictly vanilla. You got to like behind me. I got Stay Puffed.
Yeah.
Love it.
But something really, it's pretty mellow in here. Yeah.
Mellow.
Well, thank you guys so much. It was so great to finally meet you and have an opportunity to talk. And we hope it won't be the last time as we get into the new year. We'd love to have you back, talk about new items, new adventures, things that are going on. And, with a lot of the things that are going project-wise, we've got promotional stuff coming up. Please come back and see us.
Awesome. Anytime.
Oh, yes.
Thank you for having us.
Please. Thank you so much.
You guys are the best, ladies and gentlemen. And it's not just a museum. They're investigators. If you're within the sound of their voices, these are the people that you want to call upon because you guys are the best. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. That means a lot.
All right. Lauren, Danny, don't hang up yet, but we're going to close the show right now. Thank you guys so much. Again, we've got all kinds of events going on here on the show, Dead Air Full Spectrum. Make sure you check it all out. Hit that subscribe button, reminder bell. We'll see you next Sunday night. Until then, take care of yourselves. Thanks for watching.